Hello everyone, welcome back to Aniki Nikki. I'm your Aniki Pato, and we got a little bit something different today. Um, we're playing Power Washing Simulator because I saw it being played by other people. It looked fun, relaxing. And I felt like I could do it better, and I thought that this would be a really fun thing to play. How do I rotate it? Okay. What is my L button? There it is. Would be a really fun thing to play, like, and talk about stuff because, there's not a lot going on. Kind of like a podcast situation. Like maybe bring up like different cultural ideas or, stuff like that. Anything that I thought people might be interested in. Let's cue a switch nozzle. Alright, that's that. Sorry, there we go. I'm playing like, oh, okay, it brings up this, this menu. Oh, wow. You gotta go over it a few times though with the wide nozzle though. Oh, you can select it from there too. I see. So anyway, yeah. I thought today would be a fun time to kind of like answer some questions that people had. As I just recently celebrated my 11-year anniversary in Japan. And, I've been through a lot in these past 11 years. So I feel like I'm pretty equipped to answer questions. So yeah, anyway. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I want to do this. Show dirt. Oh, look at all that dirt. Alright, I want to go back to the smaller nozzle, I think. This is very good at cleaning that stuff. Alright, so I posted on Twitter and Facebook and stuff, and I got some questions from people, so let's get to answering. As soon as I finish cleaning this, maybe this wasn't a good series. We really focused on cleaning this stuff. Okay. So, first question. What do you miss most about home? That is a difficult question because there is not really much that I miss about home. I miss my friends, but especially, post-pandemic, like, I really don't feel like I'd have to pick like a friend or two to be near, because all my friends are from university and they're all in different places now. So yeah, I guess also food. Sometimes I get homesick for food, especially pizza. It's probably good that I can't have pizza all the time because I definitely eat too much, but they don't really serve the right kind of pizza in Japan. I mean, they do. It's available, but it's not available near me. I live in a very small town, so yeah, I guess I would say my friends. Kind of probably not an answer that people wanted to hear, but that's how it is, and I'm the one answering the questions, so deal with it. Next, what surprising food you've taken to a liking in Japan? Well, that's probably squid ink. I mentioned in one of my other videos that there was a Splatoon, or maybe I did. Maybe I just posted on Twitter. I don't know. Follow me on Twitter. It's in the description. I ate a Splatoon-themed ramen, instant noodles, recently that was squid ink flavor. And I've actually had squid ink flavored stuff, like regular pasta. It's just like, it looks like all black pasta. It would probably look really gross if you were showing it to like an American. They probably would not want to eat it. But it was quite good. there was actually a little while ago, there was an ikasumi hamburger from McDonald's in Japan, where it was supposed to be like a witch burger. So like the buns were gray, and it was like this black sauce covering the burger. It was quite interesting. I thought it tasted good. Other than that, like, there's some weird Japanese foods that I actually like. I guess like some sushis and stuff that you might not expect to like. I don't know. Sushi is pretty popular these days, so probably a lot of people like sushi, but you know, that would be my thing. I think I'd say squid ink. I think that's probably the one that sticks out the most to me. Good question. If you're comfortable talking about it, what kind of hardships do you face as a foreigner? So, one thing that people love to talk about on the internet, not this person that asked this question, but in general, if you go to any Japan-related bulletin boards or Reddits or whatever, they're always going on about how much Japan hates foreigners and stuff like that. And I really don't think that that's as well. Maybe it's true, but it's definitely not as prevalent as people make it seem like it is. Oh my goodness, that was all right. So my hardships, they're, when you say them out loud, it's such like first world problem stuff that it doesn't really matter. But like, one of the problems with being a foreigner in Japan is that, it's a very homogenous country. And a lot of the foreigners that do come to Japan, especially since the tourist boom, don't speak Japanese, don't follow the Japanese way of doing things. And so it's kind of assumed that you are that one of them. And, that's probably a reasonable assumption to make. You look at how many foreigners has this person met. And how many of them fit that description, right? So probably most of them. Let me use aim mode here. Nope. There it is. So, I've had stuff like, I always follow the rules. They're very particular about how you put your garbage out and stuff like that. And I always am very careful to follow those rules. But when someone doesn't, sometimes I've gotten a note on my in my mailbox like, please follow the rules. Like, I did. You're looking for someone else, but I can't, really do anything about it. So there's this one. Or like other small things is like, sometimes when you go to a convenience store and you buy a bento, and it'll be like ramen, and they always give you a fork, and a spoon, and or chopsticks, depending on what the food is. So like if you get pasta, they usually give you a fork. If you get some kind of Japanese food, they usually give you chopsticks. But sometimes, this is again not all the time, and it's not super common. It does happen sometimes. Is you'll get only a fork, even though maybe you wanted a chopstick. Oh yay! All right. Open the tablet to continue. Man, look at me! I was such a good cleaner. Move to the part where I jump on the... Yeah, there it is. All right. So I think we can buy some upgrades. Ooh, not there yet. Oh, my goodness. All right. Clothing. All right. I think we should probably upgrade some of our things first. Wow. Okay. So there's different... Let's just buy them all, right? Make us more effective. We got all of them, right? Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Modifications, and that's just still like... How about equipment? The turbo nozzle. A spinning 0-degree nozzle increases the area effect while maintaining maximum pressure. Wow, that's pretty good. Get that. Probably need the soap nozzle to... Oh, you get the stronger one. Improves the range while still being able to be used quite close to the surface. Let's do that. Okay. All right. So back to the issue of hardships as a foreigner in Japan. Like I said, I think most of those things are not really big deals, but like in specifically reference to the fork thing. One time I was at a party with a mixture of foreign people and Japanese people, and me and this other foreign person were just kind of like joking around. We were a little drunk or whatever, and we were talking about like, oh, I hate when they do that. Like when, like I want a chopstick. Like, you know, people outside of Japan use chopsticks. Why would you assume that I don't? And this one lady got really like aggressive, where she was like, they were trying to be nice to you because they didn't think that you knew how to use a chopstick. And I'm like, okay, well, is that really being nice? Like, should I use the... Wait, hold on. How did I bring up that menu? No. Oh, yeah. Well, I want the turbo nozzle first. Wow, look at that. Yeah. I see. That is pretty good. Where did I get the... Where did I get the cleaning liquid? I opened up that menu before. There we go. Cleaning liquid. Oh, what? Did I not buy the right thing? Do I need the... Oh, no. I don't know how to play this game. Alright. I guess we'll just... let me go back to this one. So she was very, very defensive and very, very aggressive about like, they were trying to help you, you know, you're being ridiculous. And I was like, well, is it really like, are they really trying to help me by assuming that that's what I want? Or, because they could have asked, like they could have been like, would you prefer a fork? And I would have been like, I appreciate that. Maybe I would have even said yes, because they were being so kind and I would want to make them, you know, feel like they did a good thing. But like, if you're just doing it like that, if you're just doing it, if it's your own choice, are you really even helping, or are you just doing it to satisfy yourself, you know? Who are you trying to make happy here? She did not like that at all. I guess other things are like, sometimes people won't rent to you if you're a foreigner. And, you know, I get the reasoning. A lot of times foreigners have very short visas, or they very suddenly go back to their hometown, and oftentimes when they do that, they don't clean the apartment at all. It becomes a very, very big hassle. So if you have a couple, like even one or two bad experiences with a foreigner, yeah, you probably don't want to rent one again. You don't want to get burned again, right? I think it's, you know, a relatively understandable argument. I would hope that that's not how most people think. But, you know, now when you get to a bigger corporation type place, like I guess like a realtor that does apartments, which is very common here. They will buy old rice fields and stuff and just knock down the whole thing and build a bunch of apartments on top of it. Then also sometimes they'll be like, sorry, we got somebody else. And I remember when I got my first non-company apartment, I went with my my now wife, who was then my girlfriend, and he was like, "Are you going to live together in this apartment?" And we're like, "Yeah, eventually." And she's like, "Okay, so you are going to be there. You are going to be living there." To my wife, and she was like, "Well, I mean, I'm living at home, but," and she's like, "Yes, but you will be there. You will be living there." And I was like, "Just say yes, like you will be there." And she was like, "Yeah, like probably like once a week, staying over and stuff." And she's like, "Okay, good. So we're gonna put you as the main name on the lease then." And we were like, "Well, but I, Pato, am the one that's going to be living there." And she's like, "No, no, 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 don't say anything. Just trust me. Your wife is going to be the name on the lease. And it doesn't matter. You know, you can pay from your bank account, but her name is the one on the lease." So it's very clear that they must have had a policy that was like, don't rent to foreign people. And she wanted to help us out. So she did it anyway, and I really appreciated that. So, you know, there's good people here too. But yeah, you know, there are people that unfortunately treat you poorly. The most famous one probably is the gaijin seat. We say gaijin is now it's not, you know, I don't think most people care anymore unless you say it. If you're like, "You gaijin," but it's been kind of reclaimed. So you know, oftentimes when you sit on the train, nobody wants to sit next to you. Now, if you're in a really busy part of Tokyo, you'll often, you know, people do it anyway. But I have definitely had times where like there was seats available next to me, and people chose to stand instead, and I was like, "Oh, he must be getting off on the next station or something." And he was standing there for a really long time, and so then you might think, "Oh, well, maybe he just wants to stand." But when somebody else got up in a little bit different part of the train, he immediately went and sat over there. I mean, that happens every once in a while. It's not like a constant, like nobody will ever sit next to you thing, but you know, it does happen. There is some truth to that, unfortunately. Good question. I honestly, I'm just trying to think. Like, I don't really remember some time where I was really like ostracized or bullied for being a foreigner or something like that. Besides, you know, I've gotten in fights about some things, but you know, nothing too serious. Good question, though. I think that, you know, that is a very heavily personal experience thing. And I think that if you live in a bigger town where people are seeing more foreigners very frequently, that there probably would be a very different answer. But, you know, it's my answer. So that's what it is. So next one, what convenience store has the best snacks? Sorry, the best snacks. So if you don't know, convenience stores in Japan are very, very different from convenience stores in America. They have very high quality food, and recently a lot of them have been putting a lot of effort into their coffee and sweets. So they're like obviously packaged, but very, very like good quality cakes and stuff like that. Not like tasty cakes quality, but like actual very nice stuff. And you can get them, and they're relatively cheap. So sometimes I would get one along with like a lunchbox or something for lunch or dinner even. So I think, in my opinion, Lawson, I think, has the best snack stuff. They have this division of Lawson called Machi Cafe, where they just specialize in doing that kind of stuff, like in doing this, what's it called? Snacks and sweets, homemade style sweets. So they have these cookies that are chocolate chip cookies, and they are the only chocolate chip cookies that I've ever had in Japan that really taste like American cookies. You can heat them up a little bit, and they're perfect. And yeah, it's just my favorite thing. For a while, that was like, I would go and I would get a cookie like every day when I was having like a really bad time at work and stuff. I was constantly eating these cookies, and it was, giving me the will to keep going or whatever. Kind of sad when you think about it, but hey, that's how it is sometimes. That doesn't have anything to do with being in Japan. That's just how work and life is, right? But yeah, I think Lawson would probably be my favorite. In terms of like other foods, or I like 7-Eleven a lot. I think, Family Mart is good too. Family Mart has mint chocolate chip ice cream sandwiches during winter and fall. So if you like mint chip, that's the place to go. They also have like cups of it. I don't know why mint chip is not very popular here, but Family Mart is like, no, we need to do that. We need to represent the mint chip lovers of the world. So they did that, but I would say that's my choice. Yeah. All right. How about what is something that surprised you the most living in Japan? Well, I don't know. That's a really good question. I don't think much has surprised me, to be honest. I guess I was a little bit surprised how different people's like understanding of entertainment was. Not that, what I mean by that is like where you would think of as like, of course everyone's seen Cinderella. It's a classic. Or, yeah, you at least know what Casablanca is, or Gone with the Wind. You've heard those names before. Romeo and Juliet, that kind of stuff. But, in Japan, since they have their own stuff, a lot of times that is not the case. A lot of times I'll be like, well, yeah, it's, it's this. And people will be like, what is that? Like, I can't tell how many people will be like, oh, this is like Lord of the Flies. So like, what is that? And I say the name in Japanese because I looked it up. And they're like, well, I still don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, how is that possible? Like, everybody is forced to read that in school at some point, right? I enjoyed reading it, but, I know that a lot of people don't like that book, especially if they're forced to read it. So, but yeah, that kind of little stuff that you take for granted is quickly apparent. Now, of course, in the same direction, there is a lot of stuff that they talk about that I have no idea of, because I did not grow up in this culture, I guess, right? So in that same way, there is a lot that I don't know, which might be surprising to them. Other than that, I don't know, I was probably surprised to find out that like this is a food item or something like that. I guess I was surprised by how normal like anime and games are, but not like heavy, not like super nerd level. That's definitely still like a more fringe thing. But like in America, you could probably be like, hey, you guys see that Marvel movie? And they'd be like, yeah, hell yeah, Marvel's awesome. And very similar, like, when I came to Japan, I'd be like, they'd be like, "Oh, what do you like?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I like anime." And they're like, "Oh yeah, anime is awesome." And I was like, "You like anime?" They're like, "Yeah, yeah." I'm like, "Oh, do you like this? Do you like this? Do you like this? Do you like this?" And they're like, "Oh, you like really, really like anime." And they weren't even like obscure shows. They were, if you were an anime fan, anyone would know these shows. But you know, for them, they were not super anime fans. They were just normal people. So they did not they did not follow as well as I thought they might. So yeah, that is something that surprised me. Good question. Good question. All right. So next, how has Japan changed in the 11 years since you lived here? Well, first off, there is so many more foreign people here now, and that's not a bad thing, of course. But it's just very apparent everywhere you go. There's so many more foreign people. And also, especially Akihabara, you know, that's a very popular place to go for, you know, nerds and otaku and stuff. Who are the ones that are, you know, shelling out the expensive ticket to get here? So as such, you know, there's a lot more English on signs. It's a lot more clear. And unfortunately, a lot of big, you know, kind of corporation type places have come in and kind of swept up the storefronts. And, you know, it's a little bit, I guess, gentrified. Like, a lot of the stores that I used to frequent 11 years ago are no longer there, or have shifted their focus so much that they're basically not the same place anymore. There's definitely, this is not, you know, good or bad, but like there was a lot of adult stuff that they just took out. There are some adult stores that like you often see foreign people walking into, but like there was a lot more, and there was a lot, it was a lot more open. Like, now I feel like it's like kind of hidden. You have to go looking for it. I don't know if that's specifically the fault that there's more foreigners now, but I would suspect that at least has some, you know, partial bit of truth to it. So yeah, I'm very, you know, everything has changed basically. It's almost crazy, like exactly how much has changed. I think I should use the this guy. Yeah, that's pretty good. Also, I guess like there's some foods that and snacks and stuff that I liked that have been put out of print or whatever. So that kind of stuff, like you used to be able to find it everywhere, now you can't. Is kind of a bummer, but you know, that again, not very Japan exclusive. I'm gonna do somewhere else instead. This place sucks. Or not this place, but like this whole area is so much dirt. It feels like I barely made any progress. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not like a really complicated answer or something, but yeah, that's kind of how it is. Everything has changed, so you know what? Even my area, my small town, like everything being knocked over and rebuilt, and you know, changing what store is here, closing small family-run store, replacing it with big box store. That kind of stuff is happening every day. You know, especially for houses and stuff. Japanese people don't really. Oh, I've been crouching this whole time. Don't really like to buy used houses. So if you have a used house, it's very hard to sell. They just prefer to either buy a new land, or they'll buy a really very cheap house, then just destroy it and build a new one on top of it. So you know, that's a thing too. But that is a thing that surprised me, I guess, also is like how much they want to live in a new house, how infrequent moving is. You know, when you live in America, I feel like you move a lot. Like you have many apartments or many houses if you're lucky enough to be able to afford to sell your house and relocate. But excuse me. In Japan, like that is not the case at all. Moving is much more uncommon, except for like, you know, the dad gets relocated and the family goes with him or something like that. But like moving because you're not satisfied with your current place is pretty uncommon, I think, and almost unheard of if you have a house, like an actual house. All right, well, 40% down. Okay, so I guess we have been making better progress than I thought. I think it's just because we haven't got to that other side, but there's a lot of green over there anyway.